Hey, I just wanted to shoot this video just to kind of talk about marketing and a common misconception that most accountants, CPAs, and bookkeepers have when it comes to growing their business. This video was inspired by a young lady I just got off the phone with. We were kind of talking about growing, the business, and there was a really blaring misconception that she had. She kept saying, "I just want to know where the best communities online are. Like where are those communities?" And that's not inherently a bad question if you don't know any better, right? Because a lot of people when you're first getting started, you think that there's this zone of people who are willing to pay you more money. And the reason why you haven't been able to get more people to pay you money is because you haven't tapped into that zone. Now, in a lot of cases, yes, that is true to a certain degree, but it's almost the same as like you're trying to go find the Garden of Eden while heaven's around you every single day. And most people go and die on their way trying to find Eden, try to find the fountain of youth, while they had all these different cool experiences right around them. They never able to take their eye off and really grab all the stuff that was around them. So the reason why I say that is because in the same breath that she said that she was having trouble connecting with the communities online, she was getting 4 consultations a week. And I'm like, wait, so you're getting 4 people every single week that are interested in working with you for your accounting and your bookkeeping service? Yes. Well, why do you need to go and get more? Because, I'm like, why don't you just learn how to close the ones you already have? Like, why are they not signing up with you? And the response that she gave me was, that they just don't see my value. And I'm like, okay, interesting, interesting, interesting. So I asked her, so were those companies like 7-figure companies, 6-figure companies, 8-figure companies? So yeah, they're mostly like in the 7-figure range, so about, between 5 million and $10 million. Yeah, that kind of goes back to my analogy that heaven is sitting right in front of you. Sitting from where I am, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's gold. You should have at least walked out of there with at least $500 per month from each one of those calls. And if you didn't get every single one of those calls, at least get about 50% of them. Okay. Now, the reason why most people struggle, like in some cases, is marketing. Like if you don't have at least 1 call per day, yeah, it means that your marketing is a little bit off, and we have to learn how to strategically go and get better quality calls. However, if you already have 1 call per day, but it's generally not closing, there's 2 things that are probably affecting it. One, your sales consultation is a little bit off. So by the end of the call or the consultation, or when you're sitting there in person with them, they just don't really understand exactly how you can help them and why it makes sense for you guys to move forward and work together. Now, when this happens at the end of the call, it oftentimes goes like, yeah, I have a budget problem. Or, yeah, I don't know. Or this person up the street can do it for a lot less, or blah, 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 blah. But if you've actually looked at their books beforehand, you can see they have $100,000, $1 million sitting there in cash. You know that's not really about the money like they say. But the real thing that it is that they just don't value you. So you need to go and work on your sales consultation. I generally, whenever I give like a student inside my program, we call it the 6-figure sales flow. It's basically just a set of check boxes, checklists, and paths that you have to take someone down in order for them to get a clear understanding of the value that you provide. And at any time, if they don't understand the value, there's sequential like stopping points where you're checking in with them. And it's like, okay, it's basically the same as like if you're taking like an online course, sometimes at the end of the sections, they give like a quiz, like, did you actually get the main points out of this last section you just read? It's the same thing when we're doing our consultations. Like, okay, so we talk, we talk, we talk, boom, we check in. Talk, we talk, we talk, check in. Talk, we talk, we talk, check in. And the reason why we're doing those check-ins because we have to make sure that they're actually still on the same page and we didn't just like accounting jargon talk our way out of the sale, which most people don't understand they do, but then it just happens at the end. Now, if you do have some calls on the board, the second thing that might be happening is in some cases it is that the leads just aren't the right leads, but in a lot of cases there's actually a third one. I didn't think about this, but there's a third one. It could be at the process to when you meet them to before they get on the consultation to the consultation call. If this section is not locked and loaded, section between once you've met them and once they've scheduled the call, that's where a lot of people actually lose a huge amount of money. You have to have some assets that you either send to them or you provide to them so that they know like, wow, this person's actually like a really, really, really high value, high level type of individual. For example, JT, one of my students, what we basically worked on for him was in addition to getting his sales and his pricing correct, in between when you first meet somebody and when they like get on the phone for the consultation, he actually sends them testimonial videos. So one part of my program is I actually show you how to get testimonial interviews from your past clients and your current clients, so you can use them inside of your marketing, inside of your presence, so you can get other business owners to really understand why your past client moved forward and is paying you a higher than average price. And you can kind of use that social proof to further anchor in your higher price. Well, she paid it, he paid it, she paid it, he paid it. So obviously the value is there. What are you missing, Mr. Prospect or Mr. Potential Client? And they're like, well, that's a good point. What am I missing? And then you can keep talking, talking, talking. Now, the third reason why your leads might not be closing is because, yeah, you might have a marketing problem. You just talk like if you're talking to people who are doing like 5 figures a year, or like, you know, 4 figures, like, and they're just getting started, yeah, it's going to be really hard for you to charge $1,000 a month. I understand. But in this particular case with that woman, when she's talking to people who are making 6 figures, 7 figures, I don't know if she talked to an 8 figure business owner, and then it's like, yeah, it's a sales problem. It's not a lead gen problem. But a lot of people don't really know how to distinguish the difference. Okay, and if it's a lead problem, it means you need to go and start revisiting and reviewing where are you getting your leads? How are you verifying how much income they're making before you open your mouth and start talking to them? Oftentimes, if you can look at LinkedIn or Instagram, it's really easy for you to start seeing like the size of the company. With LinkedIn, it's the easiest because you can actually go and look into their company profile and say how many employees they have, what type of industry are they in, how long have they been in business for, what are their products, what are their services, what is their estimated annual revenue, and you can actually tell just from then and there, like, is this person worth my time? Right. And then once you start strategically building your network with people who have those higher, company amounts like 6, 7, or 8 figures, which isn't that large in the grand scheme of things. I understand that. But for us, like either a freelance bookkeeper or an accountant or a CPA, and you're trying to get the monthly work, that's generally the ideal size we like to go for, 6 to 8 figures. Sure. And it just makes it really easy for you to kind of check that. And then once you do that, you just have to learn how to go and have conversations with them to get them interested and even doing a consultation with you, so that you can start getting those clients on the phone. And when you get the right client on the phone, you have the right process in between when you meet them to when they do the consultation, then you have a consultation flow that just works really, really effectively. That's when you start closing it, between 50 to 80%. I have students closing between my top student right now closes about between 90 to 95%. So 90 to 95% of the people he speaks to ends up paying him some sort of money in the future and actually works with him long term. Now, I'm not saying you're just going to magically get there. You do have to put in the work. You have to learn sales. You have to learn how to be comfortable under the pressure. You have to learn how to be comfortable in fear and be comfortable handling, business owners where all they do all day is work on negotiating lower prices and lower things for their business. You just got to be strong and confident in yourself. And that's going to allow you to be able to do that. Now, if you want some help going and growing your business, so if you want to be able to move and you want to be able to actually reach your goal, I have a lot of people come to me and they have these goals established, but they don't really know exactly what's holding them back, and it's not their fault. They just don't know what they don't know. So they come to me, and then on this single call, what we do is we say, okay, so here's where you are right now. Okay, cool. Let me pinpoint like what's going wrong. Just tell me a little bit more about your business. What are you trying to do? What have you tried in the past? Like, what's not working? Then we go, okay, so where do you want to go? Like, are you a workaholic? Are you a person that likes vacations? Are you like a 15 day out of the month kind of worker? Do you only want to work 20 hours? Like, what does that look like for you? Do you want to spend more time at the kids' baseball game or the daughter's soccer game? Like, what does that look like for you? And then what we'll do from there is like, hey, we make this plan. It's like, okay, cool. So this, if you really want this stuff, you just told me you want this and you really want this is what it's going to take. Like, by the end of the call, like in the end of the game plan, if you think this is something you like, not only will you know what to do step by step, but I'll even invite you to join the program. It's called 6 Figure Firms Mentorship Program. We'll walk hand in hand to make sure you go and reach this goal, and there'll be no miscommunication between what you need to do in order to go and reach the goal. If that's something that you want, go ahead and click on the link inside the description, either above or below the video, depending on where you're watching this. I'll see you on the call. Can't wait to help you out. Can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon. Excuse me.